Hi, Karen with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a scrapbook layout for Scrap FX and I am using the recently released Patchwork Butterflies collage and the gorgeous coloured butterflies transparencies. Oh my goodness, these are so gorgeous. I knew as soon as I received them, my layout was going to be full of these butterflies. They come in different sizes as well, so I'm going to have a bit of dimension on the page as we move forward. So to start off with, I have got some smooth white cardstock, which I have gessoed with clear gesso and let that dry. And I'm starting with some acrylic paint. I don't often do this on my scrapbook layouts, but I had an idea in my mind that I wanted to have a bit of a half and half type page. And I wanted to do some loose semicircles, I guess you can call them, on my layout with some paint. And I'm just using here just a bread and butter plate from my that I keep on my scrap desk. I normally hold my ephemera in this plate, and I'm just sort of giving it a loose trace around there with my navy blue acrylic paint. Now, to create that navy blue, I actually didn't have a navy blue paint in my stash, which surprised me greatly. But what I did is I combined a light blue with a little bit of grey metal black, and that's given that really nice dark tone of that navy. And as you see the butterflies a little bit further down the track, when you see them a bit closer, you'll see that that was sort of part of the colours that I'm trying to draw out, particularly of the patchwork butterfly. So then I wanted to put a little bit of bling and a little bit of gold to the page. And I'm just using a stencil brush here, so a dry stencil brush with a little bit of gold acrylic paint. And I'm just stippling that around the page. I am not making any notice of whether it's messy or not. I'm just literally starting to look for colours and trying to move through the colours that are on the patchwork butterflies. So I grab out a whole heap of my Lindy's spray here to the right, and I'm just splattering away. So I've got different colours here that I'm using today, and I'm not sure I wrote them all down because I did get to go to town quite a lot with the splattering. But some of the colours I have used today are tilt-a-wheel teal. I've also used some Martian magenta, which is just an absolutely shiny, gorgeous purpley colour. And I've also used raspberry lemonade, which is a light pink. I used some Outer Space Aqua, which is a gorgeous greeny bluey colour as well, with lots of shine. And as I was working towards that, I realised that the size of the butterflies, I'd gone a little bit too thin with my little arc there around the page. So I then just watered down a little bit more of my acrylic paint and added paint to my brush and made it more like a watercolour tone. So it gives a bit of an ombre effect through that paint on those rings. And I really love how this turned out, but then I needed to go back over everything. So I needed some more gold. So again, that was with my stenciling brush there. It was dry, not wet, and just stippling that all around to give a nice bit of a shine and glow to the page. And then I went back over with all of my sprays again, just so it was leading towards and covering that entire piece. So I absolutely went to town with all my sprays. I also did come in with some of my favourite distress oxides as well, and I used some mustard seed and faded jeans, and also, I can't remember, I think it might have been Mermaid Lagoon, I think is the colour, which is a gorgeous aqua blue as well. Now, with most mixed media layouts, I'm sure you watch other people talking about them being a big hot mess, Missy Whidden being one of them, and it absolutely looks like a big old mess right now as I'm pulling this together. But once you start adding the layers of the butterflies onto the page, it really started to come together for me. So what you'll also see there, I've actually moved the page and turned it around the other way. When I chose my photo, I hadn't really thought about which way she was facing. And then when I started to build the layout, I realized, hang on, she's looking at the end of the layout, so it didn't feel right to me. So I wanted the butterflies. It's almost as if she's reaching out and touching those butterflies of that photo. So I flipped it over, and then I'm just building up my layers here. So with some of the patchwork butterflies that I'm putting there, I'm also layering one of the colored acetates as well and gluing that just in the middle, so that will actually be able to lift up while it's sitting up. And it looks so beautiful. And then I've alternated the butterflies. So I'm using some of the patchwork collage. Then I've got just one of the straight out colored transparencies, then another patchwork, then a transparency. So you see what I mean. And then I'm just adding some layers of scraps from my scrap box. So those little hearts, I had those from previous cutouts of some layout that I've done in the past. And I found a gorgeous perspective. I have no idea where that came from. I couldn't tell you. And that gorgeous heart perspective was just that perfect color as well. If you see there in those butterflies, they've got this beautiful purpley tinge as well, sort of purpley, pinky, and that just matched perfectly with the layout. So I made sure I stuck everything down with some wet adhesive as well. Often when if you don't do a lot of mixed media, or you're venturing out into mixed media, I really recommend, if you're really wanting to get a really good hold, make sure you're using liquid adhesive on your layouts. Things will stick and stay longer, because particularly if you've used gesso, so they will move quite a lot if you have used that gesso as well. And to finish a few things off, I just added some layers onto the left-hand side of that layout as well. Just an extra couple of butterflies and a little piece there that says Love Life. This is my gorgeous friend's daughter, Sienna, on the eve or the afternoon of her end of year 12 formal last year. She has some beautiful photos that she had taken that day, and of course I've stolen them and scrapping away for some of those photos. And to finish off the layout, I'm adding some gold splatters just to tie back to some of that gold metallic paint that I used in the background. And I also add my favorite, which is white splatters. So I'm using Dina Wakley's gloss spray for this one, and I love just how that pop happens when you use some white splatters on anything. I put white splatters on everything pretty much. And that is pretty much my layout. I've got the final one here to show you, and I've got some close-ups as well. You will see in the description box below all the links to the blog post and the store, and I strongly encourage you to have a go and look at your stockists and see where you can get the gorgeous butterflies from. As always, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Your support means a great deal to me, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.